this, considering cultures, is what makes every astrotourism experience unique. We're not going to have the same experience happening in Mexico than in Fiji Island. Why is that? Because ancient cultures were different. This is when we bring the importance of stargazing for those people. This is when we bring how they actually use this, for example, for their agricultural calendars or for some of their myth. Again, and this is also very appealing for visitors to know ancient cultures. And of course, last but by no means least, is the social development part. This is very important because what? Local people must, and I repeat this, they must receive a benefit out of this activity. That was, this is why is astrotourism actually is part of the Office of Astronomy for Development, for this third column, social development. This definition came from Dr. Pedro Russo, maybe the most accredited author related to astrotourism. In case you haven't seen the workshop he organized, I invite you all to search on the webpage of the Office of Astronomy for Development. There you will find this video. I suggest you all to take the time to watch it entirely because in this video they are sharing best practices for that moment, which was 2021, I believe, but also what went wrong on that first run of experiences. Very important learnings comes from watching this video. Again, you find this one. This is already at the webpage of the Office of Astronomy for Development. Now, how does an astrotourism experience looks for us here in Mexico, especially in rural areas? This is an example of it. Okay, it's this is another day in the office for us, and I presume for most of you. The crew members are bringing the telescopes out of the truck and making up for the people who is going to visit this experience. At that moment, there were 900 people, I presume, and this happened in a rural area. And 2 hours after this, we were all enjoying the night sky. Of course, there was a talk, there was some events of the astrotourism experience, but as I already mentioned earlier, the social development part was, of course, part of the experience. We invited local craftsmen to sell their products, their arts and crafts, and of course, the local food. Because remember, locals must get a benefit out of the experience. This is quite important for truly astrotourism experience. By the way, the combination of telescopes and chicharrones is quite a lovely mix. This is what explains what we all do here in this group, right? I think it's lovely to be part of the first experience for most of the people to observe the moon or the planets or even some stars through a telescope, again, for the first time. This is what makes our job, and by our job, I mean the job of all of us here in this room, quite important and interesting as well. Okay, so the next slides have been taken from a workshop that was run by University of Oxford and University of Namibia. This was also part of a talk on the same workshop I already mentioned from Dr. Pedro Russo. And in this slides, they actually presented in a very clear way how the SDGs may relate with astrotourism. I'm going to share some general examples. Okay, feel free to choose whichever SDG fits better your practice. And again, the main purpose of this talk is for you to know about some examples that you can get benefit out of it to design your own activities or your own programs. And even more important, to find resources, funding, yes, to make sustainable your activities. That's what we're about to share. So maybe this is the most important slide of this slide presentation, right? I mean, this says which SDGs are related with astrotourism and how this actually happens. I mean, it's quite obvious, the one related with education and community as well, that economy and environment are very important. Why is that so? Because there are a lot of grants in the economy environment. As well, there are a lot of grants in the in the environment ecosystem. So as long as you are relating your activity with these topics, you will be finding more resources, again, to make your practice more sustainable. Okay, in a general way, economy, as we already mentioned, is very important because with astrotourism, we are creating new jobs, especially for underserved people. For example, nowadays we have a program that got funding from the Women and Girls Astronomy and Physics from the NAROAD. Okay, and this is just one example about how you can collaborate, right, with other ecosystems, again, to bring funds to your practice and your programs. Okay. Of course, social. This may be the most important one, right? Uh, the one we actually choose is quality education, but it's as important as that is the gender equality. We are aware that astrotourism helps to create more jobs for girls, to create more jobs for native people as well, and as they are having more benefits, they may get better health with them. By the way, this chapter, the good health and well-being, it's quite interesting. The job that people at the Office of Astronomy for Development are doing, creating contents related to this action, which I invite you all to take a look at them. And as we already mentioned, the cultural part is very important and also very interesting once you realize the meanings of constellations for every different part of the world. Okay, and this is again very interesting for visitors. This is what makes your astrotourism experience unique. And of course, this helps you to bring more respect for your elders, right? I mean, that's what has happened in our experiences here in Mexico so far. Of course, as you already know, astrotourism helps us to enhance the protection for our skies, as we already know. And today I'm going to share with you our newest program. For this, we're using astrotourism to enhance the sustainability of wildlife conservation. Okay, in a moment I will show this example for you. Now, I guess we're all familiar with this tool, the problem tree diagram. In case you're not, this helps us to first to focus on a main problem for society of course, and then we need to dig about the causes of the problem and the causes of less causes actually. Why am I bringing this? I'm about to mention this. As you find these causes, you're going to look for the consequence of the problem, of the central problem, and the consequences of that consequences as well. The tree diagram problem has many objectives. One of them is, as you are solving one of the causes, you are already helping to solve a central problem. This is quite useful for you to design the theory of change. Every time you are going to postulate a project for a grant, it will ask you about the theory of change. So finding the causes of the central problem will help you quite a lot, actually, to build this theory of change. And about the consequences, this is very important because they will help you to find interested parties to help you with your programs. This means it will help you to find resources, funding. Now, why am I mentioning this? Because we can use this same methodology with SDGs. Okay, choose the one fits you better for your team. And by team I mean for the knowledge you already have as a team, for the skills you already have as a team. Build the SDG that makes more sense to you. Okay? And you put it in the central part of the diagram. And I'm inviting you to look for the specific targets of each SDG. Maybe you're not familiar with that, but the United Nations already wrote this. These targets helped you to identify the needed steps, right? for each SDG. Also, they help you to identify the metrics for this. This is quite useful for you to design your activities or even your programs. And again, this is quite useful for you to find resources and grants. As well as you found the targets for the SDGs you are actually considering, I invite you to find those offices related with that SDG. They may be government offices, foundations, private companies, or even locations. The main importance for this is, again, as I already mentioned, targets will help you to bring metrics to your program, and also will help you to design the programs itself. About the organizations related with the SDG, this is where you may find possible collaborations, grants, quite important, sponsors, or even clients for your services as an astrotourism guide or astrotourism producer. Okay? Again, what is the importance of this slide? Most times we are complaining that we don't find enough resources coming from the astronomy environment. And this is where you find some other environments, some other ecosystem, if you prefer, related with this activity. And so you may design a program strategy that involves some of this interested parties, and then finding more resources again for your programs. This is just one example about the targets I already mentioned. These are the targets for the 17th, 20th SDG. And here I'm sharing with you the target of each of the SDGs. By the way, this information is open for all of us. You just have to type it in the searcher, the one you prefer. And again, this material will help you to bring more specificity to your programs and even the metrics. You may observe the targets for some other SDGs as well from here. And this is the last group of them. As you may read in this slide, you may find it in United Nations statistics. Again, this information is free and quite useful if you use it to bring more clarity and specificity to your programs. And the main importance for this is for once you're applying for grants. Okay, now we'll be sharing some examples that we actually designed and implemented in TRIBU. By the way, every one of this program has been designed as a collaboration of with TRIBU. We are dedicated ourselves to do astronomy outreach and astrotourism, but with Pro Sociedad. Pro Sociedad is an NGO fully dedicated to design, implement, and evaluate social development programs. So maybe my main suggestion for you is look for collaboration. This makes your programs more robust and help you to really create a social impact. So the first program I'd like to share with you is Festival de la Astronomía, Astronomy Festival. This runs every year. This is in another rural area. Tapalpa is the name. And the SDG related to this one, I mean, the one we found is quality education, of course. Why is that so? Because we bring a workshop for students, but for local teachers as well. And then we're doing outreach activities, helping to engage them with STEAM studies. Helping the kids so after this experience, they are more curious about science, about space, even about math. Once you know the SDG that relate better to your program, you can find interested parties. And remember, this is quite useful because they may bring resources. For example, with this one, the Ministry of Economy, the first grant we actually got was from the Ministry of Economy. Why is that so? Because if you have well-educated people, you're gonna have more engineers. And as you may know, there is a direct relationship among the amount of engineers and the economic growth of the country. So for them, it's quite important for us to enhance uh, science culture and science education. Okay, so they have funds. And by the way, out there are plenty of resources. You just have to have a valid, clear, and robust proposal, and eventually you're going to find resources for this. Again, you just have to relate those interested parties with the SDGs for each of your programs. And, we also found interest in private companies, especially those related with technology and innovation, because of what they are looking, they are seeding, right? They are seeding interest among the teenagers, okay? So eventually they may go and work in these companies, right? Related with, again, technology, software, and innovation. So this is how you are relating your astronomy outreach practice, your astrotourism practice with them. The second program I'd like to share with you is one we developed together with Senda del Jaguar. This is a natural sanctuary for jaguars in San Sebastián del Oeste, is the name of this rural area. So we created an experience with them. The name of the experience, Lunas de Jaguar, Jaguars Moons, okay? And then as we were collaborating with them, we noticed what is the main problem they have. They are an NGO. They run this wildlife conservation programs, but they don't receive profits out of it. Actually, they have to pay for this. By the way, how do they get jaguars? This is a natural path for jaguars, but also local police, when they uh, when they get jaguars, I mean, when they capture criminals, some of them have this kind of wildlife in their house, so they get the jaguars and they put these jaguars in this sanctuary. Do you know how? Have you any idea about how much each of these jaguars eats every day? And they send that the jaguar are paying for this, but they don't receive any profits. So it's quite important to make this program sustainable at least. For this, we designed our latest program, Astronomy for Wildlife Conservation. I know this is not the time to fully explain this program, which by the way I love eventually, but this program involves activities about education, of course, astrotourism, and this is all focused on making the conservation program more sustainable. So, as you may imagine, these are the SDGs we found more related to this, and with it, we look for interested parties that may bring funding for this program. Most interested parties are different offices, different government offices, but also private tourism companies. As we speak, uh, we already have, I believe, two new wildlife conservation programs that want to be part of it. One of it is with the Mexican gray wolf, which is close to extinction, and the other one is with coral reef conservation at Florida. So I hope at the end of this month to have more results out of this program, so I may share them with you, of course. And the last program, and this one was founded by the North American Regional Office of Astronomy for Development, especially on the Women and Girls in Astronomy program. This is to bring astrotourism to the paisaje agavero. Paisaje agavero in Spanish is the land where agave is the plant where tequila is gotten out of. Okay? So in these fields, which are lovely, by the way, and the night sky is as dark as it can get, actually. We brought a workshop especially for girls. So we are preparing them to become astro guides. By the way, one interesting finding of this is for the first trial we did, the girls said that they actually prefer to have boys in the same group, not only girls, boys as well. That was one of the main learnings we got from the first phase. So now the workshop is going to include boys as well. But again, it's fully dedicated to bring girls, but there are going to be some boys and elders, I presume, as well. We had to change some part of the workshop But again, the main point of this is to bring astrotourism and with it enhance new jobs for girls in the place. Okay? Three activities we bring with this program, as you may observe, is education, of course, astrotourism, and dark sky conservation as well. The SDGs related with this help us to find interested parties, as I already mentioned. And when we went there at the place, we realized that the main problem Tequila Town has is that every tourist experience actually happens during daytime. So local hotels are not receiving anything out of regular tourist experiences. For them, astrotourism and what this involves, it's lovely because with this we're going to enhance and promote uh, visitors to actually spend the night in Tequila. This will bring more economy for local hoteliers, and so they are quite interested in this program. They are going to be actually the first clients and the first sponsors for this program. So what I have been trying to say is how important SDGs are, how well related and how close related they are with astrotourism, what we all do in this group, and also how SDGs may help you to find resources for your program. Remember, resources as volunteers, resources as collaborators, resources as grants, even donations, and clients as well. I hope this could be useful for all of you. In case you have a question, I'm open for this, and or you may send us an email, tribuastronomica@gmail.com, or send a question here in the Discord group. And on behalf of all the team here on Tribu, for all of you, clear skies.
Great, thank you so much. Oh, I can't see your face. Okay. Yeah, thank you so much. So we do have quite some time for discussion. I think there's definitely a lot to unpack here. Joyful, unfortunately, still can't speak because of technical difficulties, but I'll be backup
Can you
host
still
for
not hear
tonight,
me?
and Sam is also here who will be assisting me. So let's deal with.
Ram,
Yeah,
may I say something?
yeah.
Okay. Before, I mean, in case someone has a question, I'm keen to talk about this. But can I say thank you, especially to Mike Simmons? It's quite an honor for us for you to be here. As you all know, Mike Simmons leads the Astro for Equity office, and also Janelle. Thank you. By the way, Janelle is my boss here at the school, so thank you, Janelle, for being here. Now, mix goes to you, Ram.
Excellent. So, if anyone would like to speak, ask a question, or make a comment, please raise your virtual hand. You should be able to see a little hand icon on the bottom of your screen next to your video and mic icons. So, if you raise your hand, we'll be able to promote you to the speaker stage, and then we can have a bit of a discussion. So, this is for everyone. I think. We won't hit our limit of 50 people today, so we can open up the stage to everyone. So I can't see you for some reason. Oh, I see. Okay. So Joyful posted a couple of questions in the chat. Maybe we can start there. So Joyful's first question is with SDGs. There's a lot of them. How do you design what's a appropriate number of SDGs to target for a program? Oh, you muted again.
Okay, here we go. Um, I mean, there's not a strict number of amount of them from from our experience. And by the way, our experience is really not quite long. I mean, we started Tribu 7 years ago, and that's as far as I can tell you. Less than three. Why is that so? Because you need to focus on each of this. Okay. If my suggestion, if you're going to start relating SDGs with your astrotourism practice, start with one, okay? And never more than three, because then, attention will get dispersed.
All right, thank you very much. Sam, I see your hand. Oh, I think Joyful, you have to approve. Okay, there you go.
Okay, I just got approved. So this is sort of a follow-up question from Joyce. Okay, first of all, thank you. That was an incredible presentation, and your work has evolved a lot from the last time we spoke, and it's always so inspiring to see what you're doing. So thank you for doing it, and thank you for sharing. My question is sort of maybe a follow-up from Joyful's. It's how do you prioritize the SDGs within your project? So how do you know which one to target?
Okay, that's a wonderful question, Sam. My suggestion is it's not up to you. It's up to the program. I mean, the program is going to say which SDG is the most important one, okay? I mean, avoid wishful thinking and get critical thinking, based evidence thinking, and the program will tell you which one is the most important one. For example, and the astronomy for wildlife conservation, education is quite important. Actually, the first activities run related with these SDGs, but as you may observe, the main purpose of that program is actually wildlife conservation. So for that, I guess the most important one will be life on life. There's no need to bring rivalry, right? A conflict among them. Okay. As long as you don't have more than three, even the mixture of them will help you to find more interested parties, right? But just to resume my answer, it's the program who has the answer. Am I making this point clear?
Yeah, I think it makes sense that depending on what you're trying to do, there's one primary outcome, and probably the SDG that's most related to that is the one that is number one.
Now, so let's bring some pragmatism, okay, in the room. If you are postulating a project with the Ministry of Economy, okay, let's bring more meaning to that SDG. If you are postulating a project with the Department of Education, well, let's bring more importance to that SDG, because at the end, you're looking to fund your programs, which are quite important. You just have to make sure that they will bring social impact. And for this, as we already mentioned, specific targets of each SDG become quite useful.
That makes sense. Yeah, I guess it also depends on the audience, right?
Indeed. And thanks for asking, by the way.
I would like to again invite people to raise your hand so I can promote you to the stage. There's still some time for discussion. I have a lot of questions about your wildlife conservation program. It sounds very, very interesting, and I think it's really cool to link something like that to astronomy and astrotourism. So maybe if you could give us more information. Yeah.
Okay, if I may add something about that program, I could talk about that program for hours and hours. Because of what? When you are going to choose an SDG, make sure you are familiar with it. Make sure you have some knowledge, skill, experience about the SDG. Otherwise, it won't make sense, and you won't get the trust of your sponsors. I have to confess something, and I don't know if this is a good idea, especially with all these important people in this group, but so far, I'm just an amateur astronomer, the truth. I love it, but I'm just an amateur astronomer. Now, I do have postgraduate degrees in animal behavior and in animal welfare. So it makes sense why actually we are designing a program involving animal sciences and astrotourism as well, okay? About this, as I already mentioned, we started with a local program dedicated to do jaguars conservation. Now we're about to sign a proper collaboration with the local zoo. By the way, Guadalajara Zoo is the biggest one in Latin America, and they are the only one who has an habitat for the Mexican gray wolf, who is in danger for extinction. And we're going to have an activity with them. What do I mean about activity? Maybe you are asking about this, Ram. It has 3 stations. The first one, the educational one, is going to be totally free for everyone. Everyone may reach this data. So we're going to present in a web page the amount of activity that Jaguars had in a specific night. We're still in the process of designing the protocol for this. So, for example, if Jaguars were spotted in 5 different trap cameras, we're going to designate a percentage of activity for that night. Okay, and there's going to be a full list of the behavior, the activity of Jaguars for each date for the full year. Aside of this, there's going to be a different set of data related with moon's luminosity. 1%, 12%, 98%, 100%, different set of data. So the education part is students and teachers are going to reach this data, and they're going to plot their graphs. So they're going to correlate correlations among this data. Am I making this point clear so far?
Yeah.
And this data, again, are going to be totally free. Everyone may reach them in every part of the world. This is because me, as a math teacher, I already run these activities, but with different kind of data. But I presume that relating with real conservation data is more interesting for the students. And also, you are really engaging them in the importance of preserving dark skies, as you may observe. And of course, wildlife conservation. That's the first part. The second part is people will get interested in attending our astrotourism experiences. And by the way, you're all invited to come with us at San Sebastián del Oeste. San Sebastián del Oeste is the name of the local place where this jaguar conservation program actually exists. There are like different shacks, and it's a small hotel. And you're going to have astrotourism experiences during nighttime and conservationist experiences during daytime. Okay, so it's going to be a full buffet of educative experiences for the visitor. And Magda, who is already here, is also designing the most important maybe part of it is we are helping this organization to become more professional, to be able to receive funding, to receive donations. Okay, so there are 3 ways for every NGO. There are 3 ways to get funding. The first one is grants. The second one is donations. And the third one is sales of services and products. So we're helping them to sell the astrotourism experiences. We're helping them to be able to receive donations. And we're collaborating with them to design projects so we may postulate them to different grants. Grants related with this SDGs, whether to enhance new jobs, so from economy or from conservation or for development, because we are creating jobs, especially for local women. And the last part of it is we are going to promote crossings between different places. What do I mean with that? People who have observed what we're going to do with the team in Florida. Remember, they are doing coral reef conservation. Eventually, they will be interested in coming to know what we are doing with the jaguars conservation programs, right? As well, Mexican people from here will be interested in taking a trip to Florida. So they're going to dive, they're going to see corals. I mean, what they're doing at Florida is amazing. And what is the relationship among corals and astronomy? Well, maybe you have read about this. We're going to be publishing also the X-laying. I don't know the exact word in English, but it's when corals are actually releasing their ovi. And apparently this has a relationship with moon cycles as well. Okay. Now, I don't want to spoil the experience. Students, they are going to plot these graphs relating the release of the OB with moon cycles, and they're going to find whether if there is a direct correlation. Now, we're enhancing quantitative analysis, but qualitative analysis as well. How are we going to do this? We're going to have some interviews with real expert people about jaguars' behavior, about coral reef behavior, and they will be sharing this contents. So students will actually already have access to this information. The main part of it is to engage them and make more interesting these math activities. Okay, they have to learn about sinusoidal functions and all this stuff, and at the end, engaging them in the importance of dark skies preservation and wildlife.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. I really, really like this idea of connecting astronomy with basically, nature on Earth. Yeah, this is amazing. I saw somebody join the stage. Moja Torabi. Do you have a question or a comment,
Yes.
please?
Yes. Hi, I am Moja from Iran, and your presentation inspired me a lot. Actually, in Iran, we have a lot of problem regarding conservation of cheetahs, Asian cheetahs or Persian cheetahs. I want to know, you already answered a lot of my questions in some minutes ago, but I want to know about how you make this project, the Jaguar project, sustainable. I mean, you went there and teach them astronomy, or you find someone inside the local groups that they are interested in astronomy and you encourage them to do more, or I want to know how did you make this astrotourism program in that place sustainable?
Okay, great question. In the first place, um, people at the Jaguar Sanctuary, they already sell astrotourism experiences, and they get money out of it. Okay, they just hire us, and they sell these experiences to general people, and they're getting benefits out of it. Okay, that's coming in the first place. In the second place, we're helping them to become a true professional NGO, so they'll be able to receive funding, whether from donations, and we are collaborating with them to apply for grants. For example, we already applied for one. Sadly, we didn't get it, but we applied a grant for the Office of Tourism from Germany. Okay, that was quite interesting. Just to bring an idea, what is the size of the amount of resources coming from a grant from these ecosystems? That was for 200,000 euros. Okay, that will be managed for 2 years at least. So to answer your question again, on the first place, we're helping them to sell astrotourism experiences. Okay. Secondly, we're helping them to become professional, so they'll be able to receive donations, because nowadays they cannot receive donations. Okay, you need to have some requirements for local government, so they may let you receive donations. And again, we're collaborating with them to design and develop interesting programs and apply for different grants, worldwide grants. And in the third way, we are promoting crossings between different places. So, for example, if you are interested in this, eventually you may consider visiting Mexico to get familiar with the local jaguar conservation program, or maybe Florida to get some experience about the local coral reef program. Or okay, am I making this point clear for you?
Yes, sure. Thank you very much.
By the way, in case you are interested, of course, I'm going to share this slide presentation with Ram and Joy, so it will be part of the resources in this group. And this is our way to say thank you for the valuable job they both are doing in this group.
Yeah, that would be
It will
great.
be great. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? So, do you have any publications of your project. So I think I saw your website, but I didn't check
Yeah.
properly the English version. Do you have more details on all these projects somewhere published?
Okay, I have something to confess. I mean, I'm 48, so I'm not quite familiar with social media and this. Uh, Part of our crew members are dedicated to this, and you're right.
Mm.
We need to we need to improve on that. We need to communicate better. The thing is, and I say this with all due respect, when you are to say designing bigger programs, you may also you may also bring some other people's attention. And before we communicate, we need to make sure to have a more robust program, okay, to avoid misinterpretation. I don't know if I'm making this point clear, but especially when you are doing something related with wildlife conservation or with
Mm.
education, it's quite important to have a more robust uh, project before you communicate because, I mean, we are all familiar with this, right? People maybe too critic. Let's just mention like this. Maybe too critic about innovation. Okay. Yes, about the way, if I may say something, I suggest. I mean, most of the people I may observe in this group are familiar with CAP. I invite you all to apply to CAP. For us, the last one, the one that happened in 2024,
Mm.
was the most important experience we ever had. That's when we took the decision to really become professional. And I invite you all to apply, whether if you're going to give a talk or just be part of it. And by the way, we're going to we already applied to explain about the astronomy for wildlife conservation.
Okay, that's amazing. That's amazing. So the next CAP conference abstract deadline is tomorrow. So if anyone is interested, please submit that abstract soon. um,
Yeah.
other than the social media and website, I was also asking about if you published anything like in a journal or magazine. But I guess you'll do that soon in the future.
No, actually, we did. I mean, the best publication we already did. It was made by Magda. She was here. I presume he had
Okay.
to go, and it appeared in the CAP journal actually, the last one.
Okay.
And it was about how to create the theory of change.
Mm.
It's the theory of change of our festival and how useful this is again to improve your own practice and to find resources as well. Okay. So I like to say this. We are keen, really, not just open, we are keen to collaborate with any of you, which I presume your skills are more in the way about how to design and develop a true scientific paper. We are keen to collaborate with this. Maybe the most important learning we have had in the last 7 years is collaborations are the most important resource we can actually have. So in case you find an interesting topic, or maybe would like to collaborate with one of our current programs to develop a research paper, we'll be, I mean, please, please send us a message.
Absolutely, I totally agree, and I think that is part of the reason we created this community and this space. We hope that people use this platform to work more with each other and start to discover what's happening in the rest of the world. So I'm just looking at some comments.
If I may mention, in case you haven't seen this, and I said to put for all the people in the group, and maybe some others that may observe this video, there are already several different manuals about how to do things for astrotourism practices published in the webpage of the Office of Astronomy for Development. I invite you all to download them. They are free and quite interesting. I must say, Tam and Joy have done a great job on them. And I think, I mean, it's important. That resource is quite important. Use it because there are some experiences there. So it's going to save you a lot of time.
Yeah, well done to Sam and Joy for that. I think all of you should have access the link to our website. Otherwise, maybe Joy, you can just post it in the chat. So I see that we have maybe 5 or 6 more minutes. Any other final questions? If anyone wants to add a comment or ask a question, please raise your hand or just write it in the chat. Joy, I see that you posted a question earlier. Oh, yeah, Kevin. Did you want to say something?
Sorry, I have to learn how to raise hands and stuff in this. First, I just want to say, like, this is amazing work, and your passion comes through, and it's incredible how much you guys have done. I've got a question that maybe some of the community is relevant to the community. What actually drives you? What keeps you motivated and keeps you inspired in this work? Because it's a lot that you do, and I know that this is, it sounds clearly like this is not just a job or something. This is a passion. So what drives you?
God, I don't want to get emotional in this first chance to have a talk with this group, but actually, it's not about. Please don't kick me out of the group. But it's not about astronomy. It's about helping a father. Sorry, helping families to make more interesting time with their kids. That's the true reason for it, and that's what happened in every astronomy outreach and every astrotourism experience, and that's the sound of the wow. That's the point. I mean, I'm not an astrophysicist. I know you are, and a very talented one, but it's the awes, it's the smiles. That's the protein of this. And sorry about this.
No, that's beautiful. And just to let you know, like I share those sentiments, and you might not know I'm not I'm not an astronomer either. My background is in nuclear physics, and so I don't actually do astronomy research. My work, the reason that I'm in astronomy is also very similar to what you said. It's about the people, and it's about the effect that astronomy has on people. So thank you for those words.
If I may say something, I don't know if we still have time. It's not fair for us. That's true. I mean, Magdalena is part of the crew members of TRIBU, but she studied social development at LSE, London School of Economics. She's quite talented on this field. This is why we have this approach to astrotourism and astronomy outreach. So listen to this. This is an open invitation for all of us in this group. In case you have a program, or you think we may develop a program, again, we are keen to collaborate. Okay, please send us a text message or an email. And Magdalena and people at TRIBU will be we are keen to collaborate. Why is that so? Let's be pragmatic, because as more collaboration we may have, we are able to get better grants. Okay, I mean, yes, this is the spiritual reason, quite important, but also this will help us all to apply for bigger grants.
Yeah, absolutely.
By the way, we're going to start collaborating with Mike Simmons here, again, head of Astro for Equity, and I mean he has a very talented team as well, and very professional. And I guess more than collaborate, we are learning from them. And I salute Mike and all his team.
Thank you very much.
And we always say OAD is not just about astronomy; it's about the people, what astronomy can do for the people. So I totally resonate with what you said. All right, so we are almost out of time. I think we're going to save some of the links that Joy posted about TRIBU and what Mike shared and posted in the other parts of the Discord community. And Joy is also recorded the session, so we will post it on the OED, I think, YouTube channel later on. Thanks so much for your time. Does anyone have any last questions or comments, please? I feel like there was so much in your presentation that I still need to ask you about. Maybe we can invite you again in a few months or something. You can also give us an update of what's happening on your side.
We're all part of the same team. We're all here part of the same team. Okay. So clear
Excellent.
skies, everybody.
Thank you so much. Joy, I don't know how to end this. So you have to do it. Thanks, everyone.
I think